Hi, I'm Russ Heaps, and today I'm in northwestern Montana. I'm at Flathead Lake. We've got a cabin here. Several of my fraternity brothers and I, we do this every year or two, and it just happens to be our year in Montana. And we are sort of near Kalispell, and we're sort of near, what else are we near?
Big Fork. This is Woods Bay.
Big Fork, Woods Bay. It's an alphabet of communities and marinas and things. Anyway, I'm here with Bruce, Rick, and Randy. We've known each other for 47, 48 years, whatever it was. We graduated Wittenberg University in 1973. We were in the Phi Gamma Delta fraternity. We're Fiji's. And we also are all big fans of alcohol that is brown. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I asked everybody to bring something with them that we could talk about, and Bruce brought Buffalo Trace, which is a fine little Kentucky bourbon, and take it away.
The one thing I really like about this bourbon is the bottle. I mean, it's got a buffalo on there, and I love the Buffalo Trace name. Actually, it kind of goes back, way back in the 1800s. The buffalo actually came out of somewhere above Kentucky and went through Kentucky and headed west. So there's a trace of buffalo. It must have been bigger than a trace.
I think it was an actual trail.
Yeah, it was a trail, but I guess they figured Buffalo Trail, maybe not as catchy as
Yeah,
Buffalo
it's not. It
Trace,
doesn't have
right?
quite the same.
Right. And you know, there's actually no buffalo in North America. They're bison.
You don't say.
The correct term is a bison. There's only buffalo in like
See,
Asia,
you're learning stuff
and
right
other
here.
places, but I guess they didn't think Bison Trace was a real good catchy name. So.
I would agree, and Bison Bill Cody wouldn't have been. I don't think it has quite the same ring to it either.
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
actually, this is one of the oldest distilleries in America. It's over 200 years old, and it's had lots of different names, but now it's called Buffalo Trace, which is only about 20 years old. They renamed it Buffalo Trace, and it came out with this particular bourbon. So this is their sort of their flagship bourbon.
Is that all?
No, well, there's a couple other interesting
okay.
things. So this is the distillery that also makes Blanton's and Pappy Van Winkle, both of who were master distillers at this distillery, right? Yeah, I guess that's the word, master distiller.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
master distiller.
So the distiller now is called Harlan Wheatley. Isn't that a good name for a master Kentucky distiller? So anyways, Harlan got his name on a bottle recently. But
Really?
Yes, it's vodka.
Oh, I was going to
So
say.
it's Wheatley's vodka. So I guess old Harlan hasn't been around long enough to get his name on a bottle of brown. He's starting out at the vodka level.
Oh,
If he
okay.
sticks it out and hangs in there, maybe he'll get.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday he'll have his own bourbon. So,
All right. So what should we be tasting here?
well, let's take a sip first, and then I
Oh,
might have a quiz.
are you running this thing now, or what?
I am like that. Sorry. So, originally you're supposed to be tasting a little vanilla, a little mint. I don't get that one.
Right.
And a little molasses.
I get the molasses and the vanilla.
Right.
Yeah.
Vanilla is the first thing that I tasted.
I got the vanilla on the aftertaste, kind of on the palate.
Yeah. So, and then it says if you keep drinking it, which we probably will,
Yes.
eventually you'll get to oak and toffee.
I might have to drink a lot of it to get there.
Right.
Have any of you guys ever been to the Buffalo Trace Distillery?
No, I haven't.
It's in Frankfurt, isn't it?
It's between Frankfurt and Versailles, I think.
Okay.
It's very near the Bourbon Trail, which has, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 distilleries, but it's Four Roses and Wild Turkey and Woodford Reserve and Maker's Mark and I can't remember who else. Buffalo Trace is not really part of the Buffalo Trail. It's not officially part of it, but it's right there. I mean, if you're going to those other places, you ought to go to this one because this is absolutely the best distillery tour I've ever been on.
Why wouldn't it be part of the tour if it's got such distinctive brands and such a legacy and a long
I suspect you have to pay to participate, or at some sort of organization that that Buffalo Trace has chosen not to be a part of.
And if you're on the Bourbon Trail and you're familiar with any of their brands, you're probably going to go there anyway.
When you talk about bourbon, you don't have a conversation about bourbon that some bourbon that they're making, that they distill there, doesn't come up in the conversation.
Right.
And I don't care whether you're talking high end or lower, I don't care what it is. They've just got such a rich portfolio of bourbons that...
What's really cool is if you go to their website, you can, I think they have probably 15 or 20 different brands, all the way, like you said, from the high end all the way down to ancient age.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that costs a bottle, but it's not a lot. But if you bring the website up, you can actually look at each of the brands, and they'll give you a really good description. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's a great website too.
Yeah,
actually.
it's really a big...
Isn't the mash bill of Buffalo Trace the same mash bill as Pappy Van Winkle?
I don't know if Buffalo Trace is. I know Weller.
W.L. Weller?
Yeah, I know that theirs is the same, and it's one of the interesting things that you find out. Now we're going to, shoot our whole wad here on Buffalo Trace, and we still have another one of their bourbons we're going to talk about in the next segment, and we're going to run out of ammo. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you this: when you go to Buffalo Trace and you go on the tour, you will be amazed by number one, the number of aging warehouses they have in that. I mean, they have enough bourbon there for the next 10 years that's in some point of aging. But where it's aged has everything to do with it, whether it's aged in a wood building or a brick building, whether it's on the first floor or the third floor. It's really, and that's why I say they have such a good tour, because they do all of these things, and you see it and they talk about it. But I don't think, I could be wrong, Ports. Buffalo Trace may have essentially the same, but I know for sure that Weller does, which is why Weller is getting so hard to get as well.
One interesting thing about this distillery, it was one of only 4 during Prohibition that was allowed to operate to produce medicinal bourbon. So I'm sure this is an example of medicinal bourbon.
I think it's all medicinal.
Yeah.
I'm feeling better.
Well, I would say that Buffalo Trace should be one of the mainstays in your liquor cabinet for a bourbon that is excellent at a very reasonable price.
Right. Under $30, and available most any place you go.
True.
To buy a bourbon. So, yeah.
High quality at a good price.
Got it. Anything else?
We have to finish our bourbon.
I guess we're just going to drink from this point forward. So thanks, and
Cheers.
see you in the next segment of Beer to Whiskey.
Here's to Miss Lily.
Gentlemen, thanks for helping out. This has been great.